Good morning, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, 4D. Good evening, Viv.
And good night to both of you. I'll see you next week.
All right. It's a wrap. That was a good one. Catch you next week. It is Thursday, the 9th of April, 2026. Dawn of Teacup, episode 59. I just had something I've started to do. I just had a quick look at any interesting facts about the number 59. Couldn't really find any apart from the fact that it's a 17th prime number.
Oh, nice. Like it.
Oh, okay.
So how are we all this week?
Good, thanks.
Warmer than I was the week before, I suppose.
Yeah. has been.
We were just saying it's kind of lifted everyone's spirit a little bit. I think the warmer weather. It was a really nice weekend.
Yes, yeah, has been very nice, the weather. I think all of us in all of our locations, which makes a difference. So
I really hate anything last minute. I like everything planned. And Friday night, was it Friday? Yeah, Friday night. My nephew got in contact with me and said, "Oh, can we? It's Bank Holiday Monday. We're all together. Can we come up and see you?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I'm a single guy. I live on my own, so I don't have to put on any airs and graces for anyone. I can just live in my own filth, so to speak. I'm not an over dirty person. I'm not trying to say that by any stretch. But I was suddenly like, "Oh crap, they're coming down to see me. I've got to clean. I've got to," and then I'm like, "Oh, I've got no food or I've got no drinks for people when they come in. I've just got the small amount of stuff I need for myself." So I was rushing around from 6 o'clock Monday morning cleaning, and I was laughing to myself because I was thinking of Viv telling his story about putting the bookshelf up, and I was pretty much in the same sort of stand. I was steam cleaning the kitchen floor and wiping down the cabinets, and then they came. But all I meant by that is, yeah, I had a really, really nice Monday. I just quickly grabbed some sausages and some burgers. I already had some coals, and I've got a little one-man barbecue. And we took a blanket out. It was almost like a barbecue picnic. That was really, really nice. Yeah, lovely.
Good, very good. That's what we want. That's what the warm weather's all about.
I love a good barbecue, just outside, having a chat, some music on, and whatever food's on the barbecue. I love to be the one in charge of the barbecue. I like to be the one cooking the kind of a man's job. I don't know why I feel like the barbecue is different to the kitchen stuff, but anyway, yeah, I love it. It's a nice feeling. It's very English, isn't it? I think.
Well, barbecue. I wouldn't say that necessarily. But I mean, the whole thing about the man being in charge is I think that's a kind of a universal constant, isn't it? Men just always seem to want to be in charge of the barbecue for some reason or other, wherever you go.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very strange.
Definitely. In Spain, there's a tradition of, in the summer, you take a big paella pan and get a wood fire going, and the bloke hooks up a massive big paella for the family. So it's similar, nice. Really. Similar, yeah. Lovely.
What would you do without men, eh? Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. I wouldn't be here. I couldn't tell you.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
You'll have to ask the women. Well, they'd probably love it, actually. Up to a point.
I don't know about that.
You're kidding, aren't you, mate? You're kidding. Actually, all joking aside, you talk to most women and they say they can't stand the company of other women. So I think if it was all women, I don't want this conversation to go into a sexist conversation about men and women. But no, I don't think they survive very well.
Yeah, I mean, we can't sort of make sweeping generalizations about men and women, can we? Really? It's which is
well, I don't know. I've still got my 80s brain. I still like taking the mickey. I still do like the 80s kind of taking the mickey out of everyone. I never ever meant it as a personal dig towards women, but that kind of comical way we looked at things, I still find it funny, I suppose.
Yeah. with dinosaurs.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're
Well,
not. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're just normal blokes.
it's
Just
true. Yeah. Toxic masculinity. Yeah. What a load of rubbish.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What do you get up to on over Easter, Viv? You did anything interesting?
What did I do? I didn't really leave much. I did a lot of reading, and I did go for a few walks. Yeah, I
Sunk a few
got
pints, I should
outside.
imagine.
No, I
Sunk a
didn't
few
go.
pints, yeah.
Didn't go to the pub. I had a few beers. Yeah, I had some bottles of beer, but I didn't go to the pub. No, I should have actually. That's a good point. Oh no, there's always time.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
So there is no more bookshelves to be put up.
No, never again. No, really. I mean, I did think over that weekend. I thought, I could do some more bookshelves. That looks really good. And I've got loads of books to put on them and stuff. And then I thought, well, what the hell are you talking about? You had a mad, I don't know how many hours it took. It seemed like endless.
I think you're scarred for life, aren't you, Viv? You need to get over it. That was a traumatic experience. You need to give yourself some recovery time.
I really think you're right there. Yeah. I'm okay now. Well, nearly. I'll be all right. But what I thought I'd do is I'd go down. There's one of the charity shops. In fact, there's a big thing here in this town. Secondhand furniture shops, big warehouses run by charities. So I thought I'd go down one of them, and they'll have ready-made bookshelves, and they deliver, and just that'll be sweet.
Perfect. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. And it's cheap as chips. Why do I put myself through that close to insanity moment? Why would I have done that?
Did you buy that? Did you buy that self-assembly bookshelf from any particular retail branch that we might know, or was it just from the local?
Unfortunately, and I know this sounds bad, but I got it from Amazon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's called Fazangle or something. I don't know. It was cheap.
Oh, I think you've got the same as me then.
Yeah, Fazangle.
Fazinur, yeah, something like that. Yeah,
something vaguely Scandi. Anyway.
Yeah. Was it an IKEA rip-off?
Yeah. It's just after me. I've got all these places. They're big as well. They're pretty sizable warehouses, basically, with loads of secondhand furniture. So that's what I'm going to do.
Nice. Yeah, we need something like that around here.
Yeah, that's secondhand furniture shops are a dying breed, unfortunately. They're always used to be quite fun to go into secondhand furniture shops, have a look around, because there'd always be something that should catch your eye. And you might think, oh, that's really nice. I could do with that or whatever. But now they just don't seem to be. They're just disappearing. Like all the interesting independent shops seem to be disappearing these days.
They're all going. It's really sad. I know they're all going.
Like secondhand bookshops as well. Same with that.
Yep, that trade's been destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up in Pompey, and there was a Portsmouth, and there was a whole road just of secondhand stores. And I remember as a youngster having to go out with mum and dad walking around the stores. But even it was quite cool walking around them, and they'd have massive warehouses of just secondhand furniture. And then you'd go into the other place, and it'd be secondhand paintings, and then there'd be secondhand bookshop. But yeah, I remember it being quite a big thing when I was a nipper growing up in Portsmouth.
Yep, it was. Used to go down Holloway Road. That was full of them for a while, but I don't know what it's like now.
Well, of course, I think a factor in that is that back in those days, things were built to last.
Yeah.
And so they got passed on. These days things aren't built to last. You buy something from IKEA and it falls apart after whatever, a year, 2 years, and you just go and buy another one. You chuck it out, buy another one. You don't kind of pass it on or, give it to. I remember when. I mean, going way back now, we used to get the old rag and bone men coming down our street with the horse. You know, and he used to hear him. He used to just go. He used to hear him up the road. You know, just shouting nonsense. And so here comes the rag and bone man, and he come down with the horse and the cart. Anybody's got stuff they don't want, they just bring it out and put it on the back. You know, and he'd be away.
As the baby of the group, I remember that. So yeah.
The one round my way in London when I lived there was it rang a bell. It had a big old bell.
Ah, right. Yeah, this guy just shouted out like I don't know what it was. He was just like,
we had an Irish guy, and he just had the loudest, deepest voice, and he would just shout, "Any old iron," in an Irish accent that I can't do. But
yeah.
Well,
long gone, those.
Long gone. Mm.
But the thing is, that wasn't. I suppose when the second-hand furniture, all of everything we just said, it wasn't conducive for a good capitalistic world. They wanted us to spend. If you've got a wardrobe that lasts 100 years, that's no good to the capitalist, is it? They want that wardrobe thrown out and get you a new one.
Yep, exactly.
Yes, they want everyone to be a consumer, don't they? That was it.
And then they drop the standards so things don't last as long. And then you got phones on contracts. My phone is another one. I mean, when I bought this, it was really, really expensive. And I'm still from the era of look after things that cost a lot of money. This phone, I think I've had it 7 years. It hardly updates. Sometimes I don't get the calls. I genuinely must get a new one. But I watch everyone else getting their new phone every year, new phone. And they've not even used the phone to its capacity. It just gets thrown out before it's I just find it, I'm really not from that wasteful era, and I find it quite disgusting the way we waste things so easily.
Well, we are living.
No, I was going to say we get a lot of claims for mobile phones, and sometimes investigation department have to be involved because you think, well, hang on, you've just lost this phone or you've had it nicked or something, and you look at the date and you think it's time for a new phone, isn't it? Isn't that funny?
Oh, yeah.
And you just lost your phone.
And cracked screens. I don't know if you two have cracked screens on your phones, but It seems everyone's got a cracked screen on their phone.
People are so careless. I've only ever had 2 of these smartphones, and like you 4D, it's like if it works and it does what I need it to do, why do I need to spend loads of money on another one? I don't. And it just so happened that I did kind of bug on my last one because I put a custom ROM on it, which is like a new operating system, and it works all right. But then I needed to use it for something in particular, and it didn't work, so I had to buy a new one. But it's like I never drop them. If I make sure I get a case which protects it. All this broken screen stuff. It's like how can people be so careless? I don't get it.
I've never touch wood now, but I've never broke a screen on any of my phones because as soon as I get it, I get a protective case, put it in the protective case, and I'm good to go. The worst thing I did. And now I don't even think about taking my phone into the toilet, but I took my phone into the toilet to use the toilet, and I dropped it down the toilet.
Yeah,
of course.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, no.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's called Sod's Law. That's what it's called.
I don't know. Some people just seem to be more clumsy than others. And I don't think I'm particularly clumsy because I don't really do stuff like that very often. Occasionally you do something stupid, everyone does. Why some people just seem to be more clumsy than others? What is that? What's that about? Some people are always losing stuff, always losing keys or dropping their phone or doing something or other. It's and I do kind of wonder, how do you manage to do that all the time?
There's a news story today that I happened to come across of a woman who left her handbag out. Now, you know this pub, the Dog and Duck. It's got beautiful tiling in it. It's a handsome pub. And she's outside and she's put a handbag between her feet. She's standing up, and inside the handbag is a Fabergé egg and a gold watch and various other things. And someone comes along and just nicks it.
I heard
And
that. Yeah, I heard that on the news today. I did hear that story. Yes.
Yeah,
Crazy.
around
That
2
sounds
million
like an
quid.
insurance job, surely.
No, because they caught the geezer that did it.
Who goes out with a Fabergé egg, some gold, and some, what did you say was in there?
A gold watch, Fabergé egg, and some other valuables. It was her workplace. It belonged to her workplace, and she was doing some kind of
They just
presentation with it or something.
They
Yeah,
just
they
trusted
trusted her
her.
with it. Yeah,
Bloody hell.
yeah.
And she was in a pub.
She was in the
here's
pub.
another story. Did you hear this one? Sorry, Viv. Sorry, do you want to finish off on that one? I've got
that's
another one
it.
as well.
That's it.
Another crazy story. Did you hear that the absolute monstrosity that is the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, right, who happens to need bodyguards like no other mayor before him has ever needed bodyguards, but he insists on using them. They left a bag of guns out on the street.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? A bag of guns.
I can believe it. Yeah, I can believe it. And half of me thinks it was deliberate to cause more problems.
For whom? For Khan
Well,
or for
just
them?
to leave some guns in the middle of London, that's going to cause problems. I wouldn't be like, I hate to be that person, but I wouldn't be shocked if he just said to his guys, "Let's leave a bag of guns here. Let's see what happens there."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, he seems to revel in chaos and the chaos of London. So
we were just saying about Primrose Hill, like it's gone. Young boy, am I right in saying he was 21 or 23, somewhere around there?
They're just used stabbing each other. That's all. You know, getting upset because they insulted each other. You know, so they have to stab each other. Then
it's crazy, absolutely crazy. Yeah. And I mean, that was just one of. There was in the last couple of days. It's just really been crazy in London.
Yeah, I mean, with regards to the guns thing, it's not completely unheard of. I have in the past spoken to. There's one occasion I was speaking to an ex-police officer, and he was telling me about some of the things that the coppers do because he used to be an armed police. He used to be an armed police copper. And he said sometimes, I was asking him about that. That was quite interesting. Oh, what was it like having a gun? He's like, yeah, it's great. You know, you hand it in at the end of your shift. I said, you don't keep it with you all the time. He's like, no. You hand it in and they clean it. They do everything for you and you get it back when you start up again. And he says, but some of the things that happen, you get coppers like leaving their guns on the roof of a car, just leaving it on the roof of the car and forgetting about it and stuff like that. You know, just really crazy stuff.
I mean, I had to work with firearms, obviously, and our discipline with firearms, I'd like to think, I don't ever remember a story, anything even close to that, but like, and also I find it strange that they don't, like, there's part of having a weapon, the discipline of cleaning it yourself, because at the end of the day, the things that can go wrong, you have a firearm to protect yourself and protect people around you. I think they're losing a lot if they're not cleaning their own weapons and learning to respect that weapon for themselves. They just give it to someone at the end of the day. Yeah, clean that for us, Gary. I'll pick it up in the morning. I don't think they're learning the same sort of respect that I had for weapons.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's obviously a completely different mentality. The army is, you know, the armed forces are different from the police. Obviously, even the armed police. I don't know if that goes for all armed police. It was just this one particular guy, and he's going back. He was, you know, he wasn't. It was a previous occupation of his, so it's not something recent, you know. So I can't speak for that, but yeah, I would assume that the discipline for the armed forces with regards to weapons is a lot stricter, because that's really your whole kind of, you know, what it's all about, isn't it? Being a soldier. It's, you know,
yeah, true.
Brandishing weapons, you know, that's what it comes down to. So, but yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy that they don't have the same, that they could leave a gun on the top of a car. I mean, oh, no.
it's like it's akin to
Leaving the
someone
baby. God.
yeah, having just going into whatever it is, your coffee shop and buying your cup of coffee and then sticking it on the roof while you unlock the car and then leaving it there and driving off. It's
And you
instead of a
see
coffee
that as
cup.
shocking. Apparently, that happens quite often.
Yeah, I know. But instead of a coffee cup, it's a weapon.
Yeah. And
There you go.
a third example of modern genius is knife bins. Somebody's nicked a knife bin full of knives. Yeah.
What those amnesty things?
Yeah, amnesty knife bin. Put your bit knives in here. Some little hooligan comes by and thinks, "Oh, I'll have that."
Free knives.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh.
God.
I mean that whole idea is just a ridiculous PR stunt anyway. It doesn't
Yeah.
really doesn't make any difference whatsoever. It's all about PR. But yeah, I mean, it stands to reason. You're going to get someone come along and nick it. If they can nick it, they will. It's full of knives. They can probably sell them.
Has any wayward youths ever gone past a bin with and said, "Oh, come on, guys, I think we should just put them in the bin"? I don't think that those bins have ever worked. That's not how you.
No. Because if they were going to do that, they wouldn't need a publicity campaign to do it. They would just do it. They'll just stop using them. It's really it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they just put it back in their mum's knife drawer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We never had that mentality when we were little. There was not even a thought to go out with a knife. If anything,
not at all. Not at
no,
all.
and I'd say, if anything, there was more fights. Certainly where I grew up, Portsmouth, and the rivalry between Portsmouth and Southampton was terrible. But I don't know, men were men where you and a lot of the time, if you had a fight with someone, everyone would surround you and not join in. It was like, right, he's against him. We'll watch them two fight each other until someone can't fight anymore. But it was much more, dare I say, disciplined. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was like the kind of honor amongst thieves. There was an unwritten code, wasn't there? There was an unwritten code which everyone kind of sort of knew and followed. But if you get into a fight with someone, then you it's just like you just have a punch up and that's it. These days, you get into a fight with someone, they could pull any manner of weapons on you, and it's like a completely different scenario.
You were a wimp back in the day if you did that. It's crazy.
Well, I kind of disagree, because everyone growing up, everyone I knew carried knives, but they were little pen knives, or Swiss Army knives.
Them. Yeah.
They didn't use it to stab someone up.
No.
They used it to, I don't know, whittle
a bow and arrow.
Now you're talking.
Use one weapon to make a bigger weapon.
Got a proper weapon. But people would just, it'd be used for all kinds of things. They're very handy little things. But a lot of people carried them, young kids, But they didn't use them on each other.
No, not at all. Wasn't the mentality, was it?
You guys, I used to have a butterfly knife, and I used to just walk around just flicking it, because I'd learnt to do the whole groovy flick with the whole butterfly knife thing, and it was all it was for me, was quite a cool thing to do. I didn't ever think I was going to have to use it in a scuffle.
No, of course. I was always puzzled with my knife. There was a spike thing on it. And I thought, what's all this then? And someone said, "Oh, that's for taking stones out of horses' hooves." And I thought, oh, right, well, that's going to happen to me, isn't it?
Yeah. The amount of working class people that had one of those and never ever needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to have a little blade of about 2-3 inches. It used to have a bottle opener, and and this thing for taking stones out of horses' hooves, and that was it. You never used any of them, really.
Well, you'd use a knife for whatever certain reasons, but I think mine had scissors as well. Yeah, a small pair of scissors, which was handy.
And a little flat kind of blade thing at the end you could use as a screwdriver.
Oh yeah, that was handy as well, actually. Yeah, I mean, obviously the proper Swiss Army knives, or I say proper, but I think we were talking about this Leatherman as well. Those multi-purpose tool kit in your pocket. They're really handy. I suppose I'm sure you can still get them.
Yeah, you can still get them. They're very expensive, but you can still get them.
Yeah.
Well, they have varying kind of prices, because I looked at them just a few days ago. Actually, I think the most expensive was, I don't know, several $100. But you can get them. You can get kind of more basic ones for less than 100.
Yeah.
I think the cheapest one you're going to find is normally about 70, 80 quid there for a cheap one. But cheap one's not cheap. It's still nice.
Yeah.
I did notice when I was picking one up for someone else, I noticed they've got a 50 years of with a celebrational one, and it looks gorgeous, and that was about 300 quid. Like,
yeah. But it's something that's quite easily lost. That's the thing. You can lose it.
Well, I see again, like mine is in perfect condition. I use it when I need to use it. Again, touch wood. I don't think I've ever lost it, because it's important to me. But I suppose I see what you mean. They're small and they can easily go missing.
Well, I mean, I think you could apply that to anything really like that. I mean, you could apply that to your phone. Your phone can be easily lost. Your keys can be easily lost. It's just a matter of kind of programming yourself to be aware of it all, and not make sure you don't absentmindedly leave it somewhere. Like like you said, 4D. You just you apply a certain amount of importance to it, so it's something which is you always try and make sure you don't absentmindedly discard.
Yeah, I do agree with you, but then again, some people have a genius for losing things. I mean, I've known people who lose their car. They've lost their car. Yeah, where did I park it? Where is that bastard? Can't find it.
That's kind of. I mean, that's like a bad dream. You have dreams like that about parking your car and then not remembering where you parked it, and then you wake up. It's like, oh, it's only a dream. Thank God for that. But,
yeah, I've had dreams. I had that. I told you about the dream I had in my pad here. I was looking for a piece of paper, and it ended up the dream. It got more and more. The papers were getting higher and higher. I was searching through. Well, where is it? Where is it? And it's a kind of panic dream. I've lost something.
Yeah, anxiety. Yeah,
anxiety at root, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, they did make a film about losing a car, didn't they? Wasn't there a film called "Dude, Where's My Car"?
Oh yeah,
the whole film about these two guys trying to find their car. I don't know. I never saw it. But have you seen what's going on in Ireland?
I've heard, but I haven't seen. What is going on?
Well, there's been mass protests in Ireland with regards to several things: the cost of fuel, rising prices of various things, the cost of living, basically. And everyone has come out onto the streets, and they've just been blocking the roads, like farmers, trucks, just general public with cars, just come out and just blocked the roads everywhere. And now what the Irish government have come out and basically done is said, okay, we're going to bring the army out and set the army on you to get you to. So they are basically setting the army against their own people. They have declared war on their own people.
But Western countries have more prosperous. The prosperous Western countries have already declared they openly declared war in 2020 with COVID.
Yeah, but this is more blatant. This is in your face, obvious. That was a bit more sort of sleight of hand. But this is just here's the army. We're going to set them on you if you don't do what we want you to do. Which does raise a question. I don't know. I know you've not been in the army for a few years now, 4D, but it makes me think about people in the army being asked to turn against their own people. How many of them would actually do that? How far would they go? How far would these soldiers go?
That's my question. Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, well, not only not that I've not been in for a long time, but it's a different breed of person out there now. I know in my day that I genuinely can't imagine that happening. I've spoke about that we've got lots of rules because of when we had our uprising, whenever it was last time. So I think there's rules and regulations about what a British soldier can and can't do on homeland, but
this is Ireland. Don't forget. So this is not the British Army. This is the Irish Army. Not that I even really knew that they had an army, but apparently they do.
Yeah, I think they're quite respected. The Irish Army as a peacekeeping force, because Ireland doesn't really have any enemies as such. You go in somewhere and Brits and they're not liked in some countries, but I don't think that's the case with Irish. I know that they did peacekeeping work and they're employed quite a lot for that sort of thing.
I would say, that internationally they're viewed more favourably than the British or the English. I would say, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but whether the Irish Army is going to do this, well, I would like to think not.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I kind of wonder what exactly they're going to do. Because the only way, if the people are going to stand up to them, then they're going to have to resort to force at the end of the day. And that's where the crunch comes, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How much force? What type of force? And this could end really badly. This could end in really extreme civil unrest.
Yeah,
and you might get army guys actually laying down their arms and swapping sides.
Yeah, this is a very. As soon as I heard about this, someone was writing about this on Substack, but there's no pictures, but they're saying, "You've seen what's happening in Ireland," and I don't know. I thought, what's going on? Not seeing it, of course. This is a major news story. But what do I read? Oh well, there's a Korean pop band reformed. Yeah. Oh, that's
nothing. Absolutely nothing on the mainstream media. It's unbelievable. Just crickets from the mainstream media on this one.
The Irish Army. Do you want to hazard a guess at how big the Irish Army is?
Not huge.
Are they bigger than the British Army?
Well, do you know what? Actually, it's not far off of it now. But they've got as of April 2023, 6,000. I mean,
right. Okay. Well,
so I suppose it's, considering they don't really go to war. They don't have to protect other places. Most of them probably just get local work. So I suppose it's a big army for what they need.
Yeah, it's probably just a NATO requirement, isn't it? I would imagine.
Yeah. And there's no exterior force threatening the Republic of Ireland. So really, as far as I know, all
the problems with Ireland is within. Same with us.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's in the Doyle. They're all the
they're as bad, if not worse, than what we've got.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
Yeah. And then, it'd be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Anyway, that one. Alternative media are following that one. So interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. I'll have to find out more about this.
Yeah.
And I think with the warm weather comes more unrest, because with the particular problem we're dealing with in England, the warm weather is going to bring that, and I think that's why the violence sort of started this week, because we've had some nice weather, brings all the ruffians out, shall we say?
Well, it brings people out. You go to any of the open spaces or the green spaces, and they're just packed with people. As soon as the sun comes out, warm weather. I mean, that's why I'm fed up of living in London, because it's just everywhere you go, there's people. There's just people everywhere. And as soon as the sun comes out, it's twice as bad. It's like, I just need a bit of breathing space, get away from all these people, these damn people.
I know. I feel the same way. Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Definitely not. No.
Yeah. So even going to the park on a nice day is not an enjoyable experience anymore. these days because it's just full of people.
Yeah.
And everywhere you go, and and the more extreme end of it is all these youths trying to stab each other, having big arguments and chasing each other, and brandishing knives and machetes.
Yeah. I know.
Tell you what else is full of people, and that's the Admirals Without Boats room in Whitehall.
The Admirals Without Boats. What's that?
Yeah, did you hear that? We've got more admirals than we've got ships at the moment.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Genuinely, I think it's that we've got twice as many admirals that than we have that are needed on ships.
Yeah, like too many cooks. It's like well, I mean the Admiralty, okay, where all of the whole of the Navy was orchestrated or run from, used to be in a building called Admiralty Arch, which is just off of Trafalgar Square. That's now being converted into a hotel. All right, so that tells you what you need to know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's quite a grand old building, but yeah, it's going into a hotel, isn't it? Now?
Yeah, it's a great piece of architecture. It's right at the top of the Mall, so you got a view all the way down to Buckingham Palace on one end, and then on the other end, it's right on Trafalgar Square. It's like prime location. And it's an interesting building because it is literally sort of several arches. It's built across the road, so you got 2 or 3 arches spanning across the road there.
Yeah, three arches, I think. Yeah, one for pedestrian, 2 for pedestrians, something like that. I don't know, but yeah, 3 arches, I believe.
Yeah, so it's obviously the Admiralty is not what it used to be. So hey, let's sell it off and let them turn it into a hotel. Why not?
But it's really embarrassing. It's because, again, we were sort of the leaders of the world because of our Navy, and the reason we've got so many admirals is not because we've got so many admirals, it's that we've got so few ships. We're now down to 2 aircraft carriers. I think we've only got 3 or 4 destroyers, and then it's like,
oh geez,
it's like I think the whole, actually let me look it up. Well, I think our whole Navy consists of something like 50 or 60 ships. I'm not even joking you. Where is it?
These are combat ships, are they, or well, I mean that
ships ready to go. Yeah,
I see that one destroyer that they sent to the over to Iran, the Dragonfly, it's called.
63 ships. Sorry, 63. That's all we've got, and that's everything from small to big, and most of those will be small.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
It's absolutely embarrassing.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yep.
And I think that's what's going on with this. There's so much going on with this whole Middle East thing that's going on at the moment, and with apparently at the time that Starmer said no, we're not going to send ships because we don't want to be involved in this war, blah blah blah, whatever lies he was making up. The reason actually is that we had 2 aircraft carriers, but one of them was getting repaired and one of them wasn't actually able to float. So he wasn't. So he couldn't. It wasn't that he didn't want to; it's that he couldn't send any ships.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is, he made a big thing about, this is not our war. We're not going to get involved.
Yeah.
But what's he done now? Once these peace agreements seem to be on the table, he's flown straight out to wherever it is, Saudi Arabia, to be involved in the peace talks. So it's not our war, but it's not. Someone should tell him it's not his peace either. I mean, he's to just stop trying to take credit for something that is absolutely no right to be involved in.
He can take credit for the further destruction of the country, though. So maybe he should just own up and do that.
Well, you know what? There is a supermarket in some small provincial town somewhere in the Midlands, which is missing a manager. And by some remarkable turn of events, he's turned up as the Prime Minister of this country.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
yeah.
he was away on holiday in Spain on the last. So he only came back on Tuesday. So when Trump had said to the world he was going to eliminate a race or whatever it was, that Truth Social thing that he wrote.
Oh, civilization, end civilization. What was that about?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Apparently, the reason Starmer didn't say anything on the world stage was because he was on holiday in Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, geez. I've got no more words for that piece of shit.
And then Putin has just sailed. I don't know if sailed is the right word for the Navy. And I do apologise if that's not what we call it. And I noticed earlier I said boats, and I did mean ships. And I know Navy hate it when you call them boats. But anyway, I see Putin floated one of his destroyers right down the middle of our waterways, basically saying, and he put something up saying, well, they're not going to stop me, are they? So we are an absolute laughing stock on the world stage.
Well, yeah, I mean, did you see the response from the whoever it was, some government minister of defence? I don't know who it was.
We know you're there. We're watching you.
Yeah, he said, "We see you." Oh, they're quaking in their boots now. You can bet Putin's quaking in his boots. He's shatting his pants.
And apparently, there are 3 Russian submarines hiding in the water.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Well, and I was going to say that was the joke to me, that Putin's reply would be, "Well, I wanted you to see me. That was the point, you fucking idiot."
Yeah, I mean, they're threatening the government are threatening grave repercussions if anything comes of this. It's like, what the hell are you going to do? Really? What the hell are you talking about? You're not fooling anyone. Just shut up. Shut up.
Yep. I like that, though. Submarines hiding in the water, as if they don't, usually do that.
Yeah, as opposed to hiding on top of a building.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, God.
Was it 1981 or 1983 when we sailed an armada down to save the Falkland Islands? The last time we did anything navy-wide, and we were still pretty good at what we did back then. So within our lifetimes, we've gone from being able to launch to the southern hemisphere, to very far away from us and sort something out, to not even being able to get involved in our own waters.
Yeah, I mean, that was 82, wasn't it? And that task force was quite small as well. They were pretty much outnumbered by the Argentinians, and the Argentinians had home field advantage as well. So the British task force was really disadvantaged, and they had planes, they had Harriers, Hawker Sea Harriers, which weren't as good as what the Argentinians had, but they still managed to do them. They still managed to outfight them. So
well, luckily it came down to a war of distance, and we actually had more distance on our missiles than they did, and it was I think it's the equivalent of sort of having a small child and putting your hand on their forehead while they're trying to hit you with their fists. It wasn't going to work, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can feel a deep embarrassment that we're laughing at our own country and our own country's armed forces, and certainly for an ex-soldier, it's horrible to even.
It is.
Unfortunately, that's the truth of it, though. I'm afraid.
It is. Unfortunately, that's the best option we have right now, is to laugh at it.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, it's really sad. It's really, really sad. But perhaps necessary in the grander scheme of things.
Has anyone even noticed, though, nowadays? Is anyone,
I mean, I actually think this country has been living off of past glories for quite a while now.
Yeah, totally.
It really has been sort of bathing in the glow of what has gone before, and without really having the substance to back it up. And it's being found out now. It's being found out big time.
Yep, I'm afraid so.
Oh, yeah.
So this peace deal, I mean, this whole thing, everyone's freaking out about, I'm going to wipe a whole civilization away or something, that President Trump said. But I mean, I just laughed at that. I thought, no, I don't know if that that's not really. Well, that's a bit mad to say that. It's a bargaining chip, isn't it? He's just doing his deal. He's doing his deal thing. He always does that. Raise the stakes really, really high.
Yeah, but I mean, see, that was that actual quote. End of whatever it was, end of civilization. Everyone, I'm sure, because I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm assuming it was the same for everyone else. Nobody quite really knew what that meant. What does he mean by that? What does that mean? He's not talking about ending every civilization on Earth. He's not talking about ending the Iranian civilization, surely, because there's all those innocent Iranians who are actually in favour of him doing what he's doing.
I don't think the word was civilization. I can't remember what the word was, but I think it was. I think it was civilization.
It was civilization. Yeah. The end of
civilization
or something like that.
So it was kind of something to kind of make people probably wonder. It's like, what exactly does that mean? Has he gone crazy? Because that was obviously a lot of the a lot of the Trump haters jumped on that straight away. He's gone mad. Oh, it's like, no, he hasn't. He's just he's working it. He's working it whatever he has in mind. He's doing it deliberately to try and achieve a goal.
There was a lot of
just keep people off balance. He likes keeping people off balance. He likes being unpredictable. That's how he works. That's how he gets things done a lot of the time.
On another level, a lot of people pointed out that he'd gone back to the Q days. There was a lot of capital letters that didn't need capitalizing in that message, and I haven't watched DEFCON 0 yet, but I know they were going to break down what the capital letters meant and so on and so forth. But again, I even to the point, I don't think that was meant for Iran. I think that was meant for the British or the deep state or whoever we want to call it, or more appropriately the Lloyds of London, the sort of insurance groups. I think that threat, whoever is moving the chess pieces on the board, knew that threat was towards them and not towards Iran, if you ask me, in my humble opinion. And so, I don't know what, because he said peace here is going to be bigger than anything we can ever imagine. I think that was another one. And I don't know what's going on there, but it has all sort of seemed to have culminated to this, whatever's going on there and whatever's going to happen there.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I wish some resolution would come pretty soon, because the fuel prices here are just exorbitant now. They're just skyrocketing. It's unbelievable, the cost of fuel now.
Yes. Yeah.
So, really.
Yeah. It's all part of the. Don't worry, it's all part of the plan.
This is going to cripple the country, and I'm sure they don't want to do that. If you're talking about the criminal, the transnational criminal enterprise.
Yeah, the cabal. You've got to break. You've got to be destroyed in order to build that better. I mean, we've only got 4 years, after all, before petrol cars are being phased out under the UN Agenda 2030. So
yeah, I don't think that'll stand. I really don't think that'll stand. These are just markers, because the whole energy. There's already an energy crisis. And this whole Iranian thing has just really brought it into sharp focus. So
yeah,
it's all just chaos at the moment, and I can't really see how it's kind of working for the globalists, really. I mean, they want to maybe have the Great Reset, but I don't really see how they're going to do it, to be honest with you.
And opposite to the Great Reset is the Great Awakening, and I think both of those, us as a country, are screwed. So, and I hate to be the doom bringer, but I said this from the beginning. I really think we've got a dark future ahead of us.
I mean, like you mentioned, we've got summer coming up, and summer is a time when people do tend to get out on the streets and vent their anger. And this country is already a tinderbox. So if they push us, if they keep pushing us and things get worse, and the cost of everything goes up. I mean, it's already happening in Ireland. It could just absolutely just We really could be. It could be a civil war. It really could. You know,
Yeah.
Well, see, people keep saying that. I think we're already there. I genuinely think, because, I mean, what is the fundamentals of a civil war? Does it have to be when the uprising has started? Because I think we're at war with our government, surely.
Yeah, we are. But it just hasn't been announced yet, has it? That's
Hasn't
the
been
thing.
announced yet. Yeah. Yeah, you were
Well,
saying about the fuel prices, and it's it's really going out of control. You give it another couple of weeks, that's going to roll on to everything, and it's only going to get worse.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Viv, how would you envisage it? I mean, Viv, I mean, you're kind of saying this is what the globalists want. They want this to happen.
Yeah.
They want civil unrest. They want everything to fall apart. How
Yeah.
would that work out for them? How would you envisage it happening and playing out?
Increasingly, as the placemen have been put in place by the World Economic Forum's young global leaders, as they prove to be inefficient and they're carefully chosen to be useless, people will demand something better. They'll demand something much better. They'll rise. They'll go on the streets, of course. Chaos will break out, maybe civil war. The globalists will step in and say, look. Okay, we're going to have to put the UN on this. What we need now is your governments are useless, but we've got a much better idea. We will form a global government. Yeah. We'll form a global government, and the UN troops, many of whom are already here, being housed in hotels. We know they're being trained. They'll be co-opted into the UN army.
No, I really cannot see that happening, Viv. I just cannot see that. I mean, if we're in a state of civil war, right, and then the government, who are the reason for the civil war, that all the people are up in arms about, come out and say, "Don't worry, we got this solution. We've got all these people who have been putting up in hotels at your expense. They're already an issue, and they're already a major part of the problem why there's so much civil unrest." And they're going to say, "Oh, look, these lot are going to be the army who are going to rule, who are going to now, lord over you." It's like it's just adding fuel to the fire. It's not going to solve anything, I don't think.
Order out of chaos. Order out of chaos.
But that's not going to happen though, because the people are already in a state of chaos, and there's no way that I don't think that is going to create order. I can't see that.
Well, let me play devil's advocate, because I in a way I believe I agree with Viv, so let me pretend that Trump is actually the deep state a star player. You imagine, give it another couple of years and he sorts out all of the Middle East, and everyone is rejoicing at how amazing Trump is, and then our governments are so crap, and then for some reason he's deemed, we're going to put Trump as head of the world government. You can imagine, all I mean is, like, I can see how what Viv is saying, that's what they wanted to happen. They wanted to cause so much chaos, and then from that chaos, this bird, this phoenix of rebirth was going to us, it was going to save us, but it was actually going to enslave us into a one world government. Now, obviously, in my belief system, I think that there's a team working against that to stop that. But I do side with Viv that's kind of where they were going to go if go on. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so you're now painting Trump as a deep state asset. Yeah.
I'm just playing that game as in. I'm sort of giving credence to what Viv says. If you imagine it from that point of view, that when your government's collapsing, but there's this great man somewhere else that is going to be part of global.
Who would that be? I mean, a man. There is no one. Who is that? Who's that going to be?
There won't be a great man. It'll be a
AI.
A bureaucracy or an AI. Yeah.
Or they'll say, look, humans aren't good at leading. We've got this AI computer bot that's going to distribute the world's resources, and you're going to have to bow to this AI computer. Whatever. I think that is what their goal was.
I've just thought what it could be, and it's kind of obvious. Alien invasion.
Well, a lot of people say that. Yeah, a lot of people say that were they going to fake an alien invasion? But no, I still stick with the whole Q thing, that it was going to be Hillary Clinton was going to get in. It was going to be a third world war against Russia. and we were going to be blown, all of us, back to the sort of Stone Age, while the rich carried on in their rich roboted homes, sort of thing.
Well,
yeah, but that didn't happen. That didn't
No, it
happen.
didn't.
So what?
Yeah.
no.
So what?
Well, it's a minor setback. Trump won't be in power forever. And anyway, Trump's only one person. I'm not really into the big man theory. I think the whole problem is systemic, and it's about the system. So someone will be in after Trump. Who knows? I mean, look at Biden. He was incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. It's clearly a placement. But no, Trump, I guess Trump, in many ways, does appear to be his own man, but it's not just Trump. There is a whole team of advisors. There's a massive team involved in that. It's just as there is in any other organization, any other government, and any bureaucracy.
But if you if you play devil's advocate in the same way, Viv, imagine that the deep state are no more, that they have actually been taken down. Where do you think we go from here onwards if that is the case? Because that's what I was saying. I still think we've got a really, really bad 20 odd years to come, because even if I'm right and Q's right and they're going to stop it all and the deep state are over and done with, where do you see us going without a control system? So don't think that they are going to get someone else in. Pretend that's not going to happen anymore. Where do you see us going?
The idea of a deep state is that it's like in a sense, the Home Office or the British Civil Service is a kind of deep state, because it's a continuity government. Superficially, you've got a parliament in charge. They're a parliament of know-nothings, and they're surrounded by advisors, by quangos, by NGOs. These people are eternal. So you don't, in a sense, you don't really need these leaders in that way, in the same way that it used to be. You do need a focal point, of course. Like Biden was the focal point, but behind Biden were loads of other people, thousands, many thousands.
Well, if you take what 4D, I think you're spot on, Viv. I mean, like, the deep state is the civil service. Is definitely one aspect of it, and they are the people who run the government. It's not the prime minister. They just listen to their advisors, the civil servants behind them, and do what they do. Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, just basically does what the Treasury tell her to do. She doesn't do. But if you take on board what 4D said, if the deep state is taken out, then that means all of that bureaucracy in the civil service is gone.
Well, that's quite a task, isn't it?
Plus, you also, it is. I mean, it is.
But play around with the idea.
Yeah, I mean, it has been managed before. Of course, it's been done before.
There has to be something in its place. There has to be something in its place. And who's to say that you're not just going to get more people of the same attitude filling those shoes? I mean,
let's look at a few historical examples of where deep state has been removed. Tsarist Russia and the secret police, that was removed completely by the Bolsheviks, who installed their own government. And then they installed their own bureaucracy, of course, but because in a sense you need a bureaucracy when you're running a state. Nazi Germany, the old guard was removed. The Kaiser abdicated after the First World War, and then you got ineffectual presidents, culminating in Hindenburg, and then the takeover by the NSDAP. You have Italy. Was taken over by the fascist forces under Benito Mussolini. They got rid of the old guard. It has been done. It can be done. It's been done since the Second World War as well. And on it goes.
Yeah, but
French Revolution, which is the model for all this.
How do you know, Viv, that the old guard in each of those cases that was taken out was the deep state? Okay, that's probably they probably were. But who's to say that they weren't replaced by the deep state as well? Every single one of those people or movements that replaced them, if they weren't at the beginning, then they probably pretty soon became infiltrated.
Yeah, Well, yeah, they would
So,
have been, of course.
so the deep state, we're just replacing the deep state at the end of the day.
Well, what do you do without a civil service, without essentially what's called a deep state, or I could call it a continuity regime?
Yeah. Well, you obviously need some kind of administration. You need some kind of something, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's actually getting rid of the actual civil service. It's just a change of attitude. It's just a different way of approaching it and a different way
Yeah.
of thinking, more transparent, a more honest way of doing it. Because there's still, I mean, we're talking about the government here, and the government is tiny compared to the population of this country, and so it's not just a change of attitude within the government; it's a change of attitude within the population of the whole of the country. And this country is so divided right now. You know, there's just as many people on one side as there are on the other. So if it goes on one side, you're going to get massive opposition from the other side, and vice versa. You've also got the media, of course. I mean, the media would play a massive part as well. The media needs to be completely liberated, as it were, from these dark forces as well. So it's really like across the board. You've got to look at everything. I think it's no kind of easy
No.
fix.
No.
And I believe that that's what's been happening for the last since 2016. So I'm waiting to see the evidence and the proof and stuff actually happening. But I do genuinely, obviously, believe that that's what's been going on, and that the old guard that is being talked about in the Q5 is us. We are the hidden hand on the world. I think the old guard, the old money.
I really hope so. I really hope so, because that is a nice outcome to think that way. I really hope so. But we're kind of stuck in the middle of it. When you're in the middle of something, it's really difficult to see it for what it is. You know, if we were standing outside of something, we could see it a lot clearer than if we're standing in the middle of it. And I think that's kind of where we are now. We are in the middle of it. So,
well, I'm outside of it.
Well, kind of, not really, Viv. You're living through it. You're in the middle of it still. You're living.
Yeah.
You can't really escape it. You can look at it and try and look at it from a point of view of being outside, but you're not really outside. You are still.
No. Of course, I have to go and earn my daily crust and all that, and pay my taxes. Yeah. But I mean, in that sense, that I'm not really partisan. I'm just looking on at all this. I'm not really taking sides, because none of the sides are very attractive to me. What's the alternative to Starmer at the moment, and what real difference would that make? Well, we got Zach Polanski. Oh, his star's on the rise, isn't it? Oh, we've got Reform.
Yeah.
And those are the two contenders at the moment for 2029, but that's a long time. That's 4 years. When is Trump? When's Trump out, by the way? If he does go out,
same time.
2 years. It'll be 26, 28 will be the next election. The end of 28.
Okay.
I mean, there's a massive question mark over that. You know, who's going to come after him, and how is that going to work out? You know, it's. So yeah, that's a kind of one we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I mean, the Conservatives are apparently sort of picking up a bit of momentum at the moment as well. There's, I mean, Kemi Badenoch is actually, I quite like her. You know, I'm not saying I trust her or anything like that. When I listen to her, I can think you seem all right. You know.
Yeah, I'm glad someone else is saying that, because I said that some time ago. I quite like her. She seems quite calculated. Yeah.
I mean, somebody described her as the right leader at the wrong time for the Conservatives.
Perhaps. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they seem to be picking up a little bit, according to the polls. Yeah, I know. Don't trust the polls, but yeah. Listen, time's pushing on, so I was just wondering, is it time for Viv's bookshelf?
Right, I'm reading an amazing book at the moment. It's called. It was written at the beginning of the 19th century, and it's written by someone called E.T.A. Hoffman, and it's basically the story of a cat, a very clever cat who talks and explains his life. Well, that's interesting enough, but then the cat learns to read and write with this. He's in the house of this bloke who's writing the history of the local prince. and the cat writes his story on the other side of the manuscript that this other fella's writing. And when the cat takes it to the printers, they print both sides. So the cat's story suddenly breaks off, and it breaks into the story of the prince of a small principality. And then that goes along a bit, and then that breaks off back to the cat's story. It's called what's it called? The Life and Times of the Tomcat Moor. Yeah. And it's
so two stories kind of meld into one.
Yeah, it's one of the weirdest,
right?
One of the strangest books, but also it's told by a cat,
which is kind of weird. Yeah,
yeah, weird in itself. Who could write? So, and then it's really funny. It's really enjoyable so far. And I've started writing a story based on the viewpoint of a cat. So, inspired by it. A very different story.
What was the cat's story about then?
Cat's story, as far as I've got, I'm only into page about under 100 pages. The cat just tells his story of how he was found, how he was adopted into humans, how he got to live with humans, how he learned to write.
Gotcha. Right.
That sort of thing, and how he gets on.
How did you come across that book, Viv? Where did you hear of it? What made you think, oh, that's a book I'd like to read?
Because I read a book of Hoffman's stories because they're called Tales of Hoffman, and there was films, and he's quite well known. Not so much now. He wrote sort of fantastic stories in the 19th century.
You're just following the author, basically, yeah.
It's a bit strange how I came upon this book. I was already writing a cat story, but I was getting a bit stuck. I thought, well, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get this? It's mad enough in the beginning. It's about an interdimensional cat. And then as I put up the book, as I put up the bookshelf, covered in sweat and toil and grime, I thought, the bookshelf's up. Let's fill it up. So I got on. Main reason was I was wanting to put my cookbooks up there. So I get me put cookbooks up, and then there's some. I thought, well, I've got loads of room. So I put a couple of books, opened a couple of boxes of books, put them on the shelves, and there it was, the Tomcat Moor. And I thought, oh, this one, eh? Had it for years. So that's a bit odd, isn't it, really, how I found that and how it's serendipity, is it called? I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, serendipity.
Synchronicity.
Serendipity is a lucky find that you don't expect. It's like, that's why antique shops used to be called serendipity, because you'd go in and you'd find something you weren't looking for, if you know what I mean. That fitted the occasion, it's a bit like what you need rather than what you want.
A meaningful coincidence.
Yeah. So that's the story there, and I do believe in that kind of concept, that you do find things that you might not think. Why haven't I read it before? Well, I've got loads of books I haven't read before. Why that particular one? Why did I put it on the top shelf? So I walk along, I think, oh, that one. Oh, I remember that.
Okay.
Oh.
Very different as always, yeah.
Yeah, you will have to one time or another, when you're not reading books, Viv, or you've got nothing on the go, as it were, as 4D suggested a few weeks ago. Maybe reading one of your stories, one of the shorter ones.
I could do that.
Set some time apart to do that, but that'll probably need to set 20 minutes, 30 minutes aside for that. See how that goes.
I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, me and 4D can go down the pub, and
yeah, and I'll just go on rabbit.
You could just start wittering away.
I'm good at that. I mean, I think the most famous Hoffman story was called The Sandman, but there are other ones. He was really into automatons and and machines and life and opinions of
That rings a bell. The Sandman. What was it? Saw something
Yeah,
about
that's
Sandman. I wonder if that was on your Substack.
yeah. Well, the Sandman was. There's also, I think, Neil Gaiman wrote books on the Sandman. There's a film, I think, called Sandman. I mean, Hoffman also wrote The Nutcracker and The Mouse King. So yeah, they're not really kids' stories. They're grown-ups. They're weird
was
stories.
something, yeah, there was something I came across recently about Sandman, but it wasn't about, because the Sandman is generally associated with sleep, you know.
Or
But there was
Metallica.
something.
Or
Yeah,
Metallica.
yeah. Before that song, but oh, and you just mentioning Sandman. But what I came across wasn't related to that. It was kind of it was linked. It was something about Sandman, but not in that way. It was some other topic. Never mind, I can't remember. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Sandman is the famous short story. Yeah, so it is extremely sinister. It's very, very, very weird. It's hard to understand, but it's the one. This is the one where Clara, a narrator, it's about letters between these people, Clara and Lothar and Nathaniel, and then it gradually appears that Clara is an automaton, and she's been made by someone. She's been made. I think the Sandman made her. So it's proper strange. It's Sandman's a folk character, you know. It is to put sand in your eyes to scare children.
Hmm.
But yeah, Sandman used to visit children. It's a German folk story.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Sandman used to visit children and sprinkle sand into their eyes to bring dreams. And the sleep sand is then rubbed from the corner of your eyes. You know, when you wake up in the morning and your eyes are gummed up, the Sandman did that, and those are the dreams that have come out.
Yeah, I remember my nan saying that's the sleep dust. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about scaring children who won't go to sleep, which is kind of a bit odd because it's pretty scary, you know.
Yeah, that's not going to help them get to sleep, is it?
Well, funny enough, the Germans were quite known for that. When you look at Hansel and Gretel and all those kind of the Brothers Grimm and stuff, they were into their frightening children, weren't they?
Oh, they really were. Have you seen Straw Peter? Have you ever read Straw Peter?
No.
The children's book. I've got a copy of it. When you visit, remind me to give you my copy of. Have a read of my copy of Straw Peter. Oh dear, it's absolutely mental. I think Straw Peter is.
Yeah, I mean, quite a lot of sort of children's stories and sort of nursery rhymes. They all quite a lot of them have a sinister background, have a sinister origin, don't they?
Oh yeah.
You know, when you like Ring a Roses, you know, is about the plague.
The plague,
yeah. It is, yeah. Yeah, and there's
Humpty
also
Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Oh, that doesn't sound too
king,
good.
isn't it? It's based on a king, one of the kings. Prince Regent. Yeah, Prince Regent. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water and blah 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 blah.
Yep. And have you ever heard?
There's
loads of them. Loads of them.
That one, isn't there?
So many.
What?
You know, do you remember that one? Don't care was made to care. That rhyme. I mean, mums and dads used to say, kids would say, I don't care. And mum would say, don't care was made to care. But don't care was hung. Don't care was put in a pot and boiled till he was done.
Oh, I don't remember that one. No.
Never heard that before. No. Never heard that.
I think it's kind of died out with the Victorian age, but you know, that's the full story, the full rhyme of don't care.
All right.
cautionary tales for children, should we say?
Yeah. Oh, you know something? Sorry, just on a different subject here. We were talking about the Artemis space mission last week, and we briefly mentioned that film "Fly Me to the Moon" with Scarlett Johansson about faking the Apollo 11 mission. I decided to rewatch that a couple of days ago, and there was one part in it which just leaped out at me, which hadn't leapt out before. When she's being told by Woody Harrelson that she's got to do a fake moon landing in a warehouse alongside the Apollo 11 mission. You know what that one was called? The faked one?
No.
Artemis.
No.
Was it really?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my word.
I almost fell out of my chair when that scene came up. I was like, no way. That's incredible. So make of that. I mean, that film is loaded with comms, whether they're serious or they're just done to kind of,
well, and it wasn't that long ago it was done. I wonder if there is some kind of subliminal messaging going on there.
Yeah, 2024 it was released. So yeah.
And now we're getting Artemis going up. Crazy. But
maybe someone saw that film at NASA and thought, yeah, we'll call it Artemis. I mean,
I think this Artemis has been going longer than since that film came out. To be honest with you.
The name Artemis has, yeah, but maybe they saw that film, yeah.
The Artemis space project, yeah, because this is Artemis 2, isn't it?
Which god is Artemis?
Artemis is the sister of Apollo, I believe.
Sister of Apollo. Oh, right. Yes. I'd have to remind myself. Is that the one that loved and had to go into the stars because she lost her love? Is it something to do with love? No. I'll have to look that one up. I'll have to look it up. But I bet there's, because they always name them after different gods and stuff, and there's always some kind of relevance to whoever they are naming it after as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, this is another name that's attached to this is Orion. Maybe that's the actual. I'm not sure what Artemis is actually. If Artemis is the program, or if Artemis is the actual spacecraft, or maybe Orion is the spacecraft. I'm not sure, but I have heard Orion mentioned in this to do with this Artemis mission. But I mean, previously they were like things like Gemini. Back in the 60s, the programs were Gemini. What else? Had Gemini, Apollo. So yeah, I don't know if Gemini is a god, is it?
Yeah.
It's a constellation. I don't know. Maybe it is one of the Greek gods. I mean, Artemis was the goddess of the hunt.
I've just pulled it up. So yeah, Artemis is the goddess of the hunt, the wilderness, wild animals, transitions, nature, vegetation, childbirth, care of children, and chastity. Sorry, go on.
That sounds pretty new age, pretty kind of globalist type, the typical thing that they'd use. So very new age, all that. Yeah.
Yes, probably. Artemis was the daughter of Zeus and twin sister to Apollo.
Apollo twin sister was Apollo female.
Yeah, male. So Apollo must have been just a girl as well. Yeah,
Apollo's a bloke.
Apollo's a bloke, surely.
Yeah, but they're twins.
Yeah,
you can have male and female twins.
Yeah.
Well, it says twin sister to Apollo, so.
Well, yeah, Apollo was the twin brother, and she was a twin sister.
Oh, I see. Yeah, could be. Yeah, of course. Yeah. In most accounts, the twins were produced by an. Oh no! This is my dyslexia. No, don't worry. Can't read any of that. Don't worry. Anyway, interesting.
Yeah.
There's a few Greek letters mixed in there. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. It does get a bit confusing when they chuck a bit of Greek in it. I know what you mean.
It's all Greek to me.
It's all Greek. I must say, as an aside, I just made a jokey little note on Substack. There was a picture of a chapati frying, looking nice and browned in parts in a black frying pan, and so I got the picture, and underneath I wrote the latest stunning new picture of the moon taken by the Artemis 2 in deeper space.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's got
somebody did that. Somebody did that with a slice of what was it, chorizo or something, a slice of salami, and they said, "Oh, it's the latest pictures of Mars from the space telescope."
Oh god! But this has had a
slice of salami or something.
Yeah, for me, this is a lot. I got over 100 likes for that and comments and stuff. I mean, I spend hours deep into the night writing stories. I just dash that off in a minute, and it's got the most views. There we go. Then that's the modern world for you.
It is. Yeah, attention span.
Yeah. Is it real though? Is this real? This is the question.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it's where
we don't know
when you say that, don't they? But I don't know.
Right?
People look at you strange when you start to question it all. But I'm with you. I don't know what's going on. Don't know.
Yeah, I'll keep my options open. I'm not committed to either yes or a no on that one. That's a maybe.
The picture they've taken of the dark side of the moon, it looks AI. It really looks like AI.
It does. And I said to you guys, I was watching it and there was bits slowly floating past the lens. Well, when you're going at whatever 1,000 miles an hour it was going, you wouldn't have slow debris just floating around the engines. It's like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
But hey, who knows? Yeah.
Well, I mean, all I'll say is we've all witnessed what can be done with AI these days. So nothing is beyond suspicion as far as I'm concerned.
No,
anymore.
Exactly.
But yeah, no.
Well, it is getting on and changing the subject drastically. I hear an awful lot about lefty whinging about NHS waiting lists. Well, the answer's simple. Shut down the health service. Result, no more waiting lists. Said by Mr. Bastard himself, the New Statesman.
Yeah, well, you can't argue with that, can you?
You can't argue with that, indeed.
Yeah. Well, that would stop it all, wouldn't it? How to solve the waiting lists. Yeah. Very good. Very good.
That leads us on to so did you what did you look up about Rik Mayall?
I tried to watch one by one his last film, or his last it's not a major film, it's an indie film. It's got some bad reviews, but I couldn't find it. The DVD is really expensive, and I couldn't find a streaming site that I could watch it on. So I'm none the wiser. I just watched the trailer and looked at some comments.
I thought you were going to say you watched it. Damn, because I couldn't find it either.
Nah.
Yeah, well, if what you need to do is get a VPN and get a torrent, download it by torrent.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You need to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm not recommending that anyone should do that or that I do that. Of course, I don't.
Of course not. No.
I'm just saying that is a way. That is a way to do it.
Yeah. Oh yes, certainly.
Yes.
I've been told.
I've never seen that last film that he did. I've only heard reviews, but I've never seen. I don't even know what it's. I don't think I've even seen the trailer actually.
I've never even heard of it, to be honest with you. So yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
it's
one by one. One by one they were taking.
Right.
And is that the one he was filming when he did that cryptic message that I put on the end of last week's show?
Yeah, well, that's one he did before he died. He had a heart attack.
I thought that was the one he did after he died. Oh, thanks for clearing that
up. Yeah, well, all right. Yeah, that's fair enough.
So it wasn't. So he wasn't doing that film when he died of the heart, or when he did the thing? It was something else he was doing, was it?
I think he finished that film. Yeah, he
I
was.
suppose he must have done. Yeah, that's a stupid question. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely finished it, but I'm not quite sure what he was doing when he died. Yeah, allegedly from a heart attack.
Yeah, I did wonder what that film that he was doing when he made that those comments to camera. I did wonder what film that might be, and I couldn't suss it out, but I did notice that while he was doing it, there's someone in the background dressed as a policeman, and it was an old, like kind of like a late 18th century, late 19th century sort of Sherlock Holmes time sort of police uniform. So it was a period. It would have been a period thing, I would say. That's about as far as I got with that.
Yeah,
true.
He apparently did another film after that, which the name of which I'm not sure about. But One by One is basically, according to this, it says it's a cafe worker experiences a intense shift in perspective after receiving startling revelations about pending massive societal shifts or destruction. And Rik Mayall plays a character called Ernest in a rare dramatic role, and it's a conspiraloon film, apparently.
Oh, it's a drama. It's not a comedy, then.
It's a drama. It's not a comedy. He's not playing it for laughs. Yeah.
He's not bashing anyone around with a frying pan then at any point.
No, he's not doing that. No. There's none of that happening.
Okay, right.
Yeah, that was some of his best work.
Yeah, definitely. Hitting people with frying pans. Hitting it mainly Aid Edmondson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the skill involved in doing that is actually underestimated. It's for them to make it look as good as they made it look, and putting the comedy in it as well. I think they were very talented, the pair of them.
I'm sure in that line of, in that sort of comedy, physical injury is quite commonplace. When you do slapstick stuff like that.
Well, yeah, they tell a story where he accidentally hit him. I think it was Rick hit Aid Edmondson with the frying pan and actually contacted with his head, and or was it that he busted his nose? But yeah, there was one moment where. Well, I'm sure there was, like you say, I'm sure there was a couple, but I remember them talking about this moment where he nearly knocked him out with a frying pan by accident.
Yeah. It's bound to happen, isn't it?
Yeah. I've heard that they were both hospitalised on occasion. Having to visit accident and emergency. Yeah.
Well, it does remind me. Sorry to go off on a bit of a tangent here. In 40 Towers, John Cleese is notorious for physically abusing Manuel Andrew Sachs on several occasions. He did knock him about a bit. You know the bit where he gets a spoon and he rubs it on his forehead and then hits him on the head.
Yeah,
And also when Manuel catches fire, he actually got burnt when he catches fire.
Oh my God! Oh, no.
Yeah. So all of that stuff, it's kind of they suffer for their art. These comedians.
Yeah.
I've got to admit, I haven't really looked up anything on Rik Mayall this week, so I'm a bit sparse when it comes to adding anything really this week about Rik Mayall.
The only other thing I don't know if we mentioned the film where he plays an imaginary friend or something. It's called Drop Dead Fred.
Oh yeah,
I've not seen that. Yeah,
have you not? That's if you were looking for this other one, have a look for that, because I'm going to try and look for that this weekend. I think he's an imaginary friend for a young girl or something. I think it's the hilarities that go on there, but I haven't seen it for a long time. So I thought, I'll see if I can find that film and see if that's still funny.
Is he really kind of mischievous and nasty in that one? He kind of, gets him into all sorts of...
I think he's kind of like the anti... Yeah, he's like an anti-imaginary friend. He always gets her in trouble or something like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't he teach her to pick her nose or something? I think it's like it's kind of that that kind of thing. Yeah, I think. I will let you know when I watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of the only things I really know him for. I mean, I'm aware of that. Not too many of his films. I mean, he did. Was he in that film Supergrass? You know, the comic strip presents lots. Did a
I,
film called Supergrass. Do you remember that? Was he in
um,
that? I guess so he
I
was.
don't
I'm
know
looking
actually.
now. Um,
But yeah, I mean, for me, it's like it started with Kevin Turvey on the Kick Up the 80s, which was actually a comedy program in the 80s, which starred Tracy Ullman,
Oh,
who,
yeah, yeah.
who went on to bigger and better things. And he had this little spot on it where he'd investigate things, and he would just be kind of just be doing these kind of mad, rambling rants. And then, of course, there was the Young Ones, where he played Rick. Then after that, what happened after that? He did Bottom quite a while after that, didn't he? He did Alan Bastard, the New Statesman, in between that.
Yep.
Um, and then, like you say, Drop Dead Fred, and that's kind of all I really kind of know him for, really.
He
he's
did
do you know what? He's
loads
done a
to
lot of
TV.
voices. He does a lot of voices for cartoons and things like that.
Oh yeah.
And I
Oh,
didn't
the
know.
Comic Strip Presents as well. Have you guys seen the Comic Strip Presents? Because they're really worth watching.
No.
They're really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I
I
have.
haven't actually.
I've seen some of them, but not all.
Yeah, yeah,
No, no.
yeah. They're kind of some are better than others, but overall, they're actually really good. They're really quite clever, and entertaining as well.
No, yeah, he's in a lot of so he's a voice in Watership Down. That was a 26 episode cartoon. Santa's Special Day. He plays Santa. Jellykins, A Monkey's Tale. Tom and Vicky. Honestly, there's probably more cartoons that he's voices in than films.
Right.
Actually, funnily enough.
Yeah.
Sydney the Fairy Princess. He's a, and that looks like it must be for 5, 6, 7-year-old girls. I don't know, but he's a voice in that. Churchill the Hollywood Years. Don't even know what that is actually.
Churchill the Hollywood Years. Isn't that a film? Wasn't that a film?
Yeah,
With,
yeah. Apparently that's a film.
with,
Yeah.
what's the guy's Christian Slater, where he plays. That's quite funny actually. Where he plays Winston Churchill, but he's this kind of he's not like the English Winston Churchill. He's an American Winston Churchill, and it's a total piss take. I'm assuming that's what it is.
Yeah.
Possibly.
He's done a lot of work. He's basically done an awful lot of work. So yeah,
and probably one of the main comedians for my childhood. Rik Mayall was in everything from Blackadder to everything we've mentioned. He was just really quite a mainstream comedian when I was growing up.
Well, that was that kind of that new wave of comedy which came around in the late 80s and early 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Moved away from the old traditional sort of musical based originated comedians into this new comedy, and it kind of sort of sprung out of there used to be a comedy club in central London called the Comedy Store, and I think a lot of them came through there, and it's all this kind of a lot of it was quite politically charged as well. You know, Ben Elton was really at the forefront of a lot of that sort of stuff. You know, and it was really it was sort of much more. I can't really describe it how it was. It was just a bit more kind of cynical, a bit more cutting, a bit more abrasive comedy. You know, it wasn't your kind of comfortable armchair type comedy. You know, it was much more youthful, aimed at the youth for sure.
I was just going to say exactly that. It was aimed at the youngsters. Yeah.
And they all kind of came out of that. It was. I say Rik Mayall, Adrian Edmondson, French and Saunders came out of that whole scene. Like I say, Ben Elton, a whole load of them did. You know.
Yeah.
Lexi Sale was another one. You know.
God, there's a name I've heard for a long time. Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Lexi Sale.
Oh yeah, God, of course he was. Yeah. No, I mean, basically, Rik Mayall was in loads of comic strip stuff. Yeah. Keith Allen was another one. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Keith Allen, that's another one. Yeah, he was the Yob, wasn't he? That was one called the Yob. He was in. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the Yob. That's another comic strip one, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And look,
Bad News on Tour. Do you remember Bad News on Tour?
yeah, that's him. Yeah, and
That was Rik
he's
Mayall.
in. Yeah, that was him, and he's in Mr. Jolly Lives Next Door. Yeah.
Yeah. Five Go Mad. Five Go Mad in Dorset. Was he in that? Was he in that one? I'm sure he was actually.
Maybe, not sure. I know he's in the actual feature film, Eat the Rich, with Lemmy.
Eat the Rich. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So Lemmy can't really act in that, but it's still kind of quite a funny film. So yeah. I mean, I think Fordy's right. You know, he did a hell of a lot of children's stuff, cartoons, voiceovers. So yeah.
I suppose that's where
That
the
must be a
money is. I
godsend.
suppose.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's easy money, that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, really. And you take it where you can get it, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So anyway, we can maybe come back to Rik Mayall next week.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that's, in fact, looking at the time, I think it's time to close it down with some crappy some really good jokes.
Yeah. No, I think you're right the first time.
Oh.
So has anyone got any?
I've just got one more Rik. I've got one more Rik Mayall kind of joke quote, if you will, but it's one that I think this one comes from on stage doing his bottom stuff, but he's talking to Abe, and can we just get out our equipment? Get our tackle out. Get our gear out. Oh God, you can't say anything without some dreadful double entendre lurking around the corner.
Yeah, because of routines like that for the main part.
Yes. Yeah, indeed. A good old double entendre is always good.
Oh yeah, you can't beat them.
Tim Saunders and his double entendres.
That's from Viz, isn't it?
Those you remember Viz, yeah. It's heyday. Viz was brilliant.
It was good, wasn't it?
I've got a knock joke for you.
Go on.
Knock.
Who's there?
Opportunity.
That's it.
That is it. Yeah.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah.
That is it. Yeah.
That was a TV program for non-UK viewers, listeners.
Well, it's just an expression. It is just a general expression, I think.
It is, I suppose. Yeah, opportunity. Well, you mustn't turn it down when opportunity knocks.
Exactly. There you go. Do you know why Edward Woodward has 4 D's in his name?
Yeah, go on then.
I don't mean 4D as in U4D. I mean the actual letter. Well, if he didn't, his name would be Iwa Wuwa.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Yeah.
Did you hear about the guy? Did you hear about the guy who collapsed trying to climb Mount Everest? Authorities just found Himalayan there.
Oh, that's another good one.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh God, I'm gonna have to do something about this. Let me find a bad one. I dropped my cactus the other day. Worst part is I caught it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And my wife told me to stop acting like a flamingo, so I had to put my foot down. Oh, I love that silence. I love it.
Oh, I'm laughing.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's good, that one.
Yeah. Here's a poser for you. I do wonder, how do the Amish know if it's a romantic candlelit dinner or just a regular dinner?
I don't know.
Okay.
Is that the joke? A candlelit dinner?
Is the joke.
Oh, yeah. All right, I've got it. Oh, I'm slow on that one.
Yay! Welcome,
'cause-
Viv. Welcome.
Yeah, because they use candles. Yeah, I see it all the time.
Welcome to the present, Viv.
Welcome to the world of humour.
My boss said he was going to fire the employee with the worst posture. I have a hunch it's going to be me. Boom.
Yeah.
Do you know the problem with kleptomaniacs?
No.
They always take things seriously. It's the way I tell them.
Timing, it's everything. I recently swapped all the labels on my wife's spice rack. She hasn't noticed yet, but she will. The time is cumin.
Sorry, yeah.
Is that Viv choking?
I was really choking with laughter because I was thinking about my spice rack. And yeah.
All right.
That's quite like the joke. The man who survived both mustard gas and pepper spray is quite a seasoned veteran now.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing at all these jokes today. Probably because I'm not telling them.
Did you know beer can damage your short-term memory? Also, so can beer. And beer's another thing which can as well.
I was wondering where that was going to go with that one. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't keep you in suspense for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's enough pain for me tonight.
No, I like that.
The other day I was wondering, why is that frisbee getting bigger and bigger? And then it hit me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right, that's it. That's all I can look up.
I'm going to have to do better, aren't I? Yeah.
Anything planned for the weekend or anything going on?
This weekend, I'm going to be playing a bit of music.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
With my band, or not my band, with some other people that I play with occasionally.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice one.
What
you do? What you do, Foddy?
Me this weekend, absolutely nothing. No, absolutely nothing. Actually,
Yeah.
I will
he's going to be undoing all the cleaning he did last weekend.
Yeah. No, actually, do you know what? It was nice to clean up, do a proper deep clean, because it reminded me, like, for instance, I haven't cleaned the skirting board in the kitchen for about good 6 years probably, and I just thought, it's times like this when I'm down on my hands and knees, and I remember if I just did this monthly, it would be so much easier.
Yeah, well, spring clean is something I've been meaning to get around to doing, a proper spring clean, but I just never get around to doing it.
I need to do a proper one. Yeah,
I am definitely going to do that. But not this weekend. I'm just going to try and finish my stories. I've got 3 on the go. I'm going to give that a go. Probably won't, but probably just doom scroll for the whole weekend and read.
I won't be doing that. I definitely won't be doing that.
Well, get on my knees.
I've got a new game called Crimson Desert, and it's just a nice wandering around an open world. I might even just wander around a fake world for a couple of hours and take me away from this crappy one.
I could do it with a new game to totally waste my time on when I could be doing better stuff. What is that? What is that? What kind of game is that? Crimson Desert, did you say? Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant. If you're into
an RPG or
it's a single player open world sort of grab quests. Have you played, or do you know of Skyrim?
Yeah, I've never played it. I think if it's similar to Morrowind, is it kind of like sword and sorcery quests and adventure and fighting, and stuff like that? Yeah, casting spells and all that sort of business.
It's more just fighting, and you're kind of. In fact, I'll tell you what. Watch a trailer for Crimson Desert and see what you think about it. Yeah. But it's to look at. It's absolutely gorgeous. I find just wandering down, looking at the trees, looking at the hills in the background. It's a very beautiful game, and it's kind of it doesn't really. There's no storyline. There's not really. You just go out and do whatever you want to do, and I quite like that freedom as well.
I think I need a new computer before I can start playing any games like that.
Yeah, it is quite an advanced one, actually.
But so do you play them online? Is it you get them sort of via an online server, or do you go out?
No,
still go out and buy
PlayStation.
them?
No, for me it's on PlayStation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought it was a computer game. Right. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I always call them computer games. Everything is a computer game if it's like that. Yeah.
What PlayStation is it? What version?
I've got the 5.
5. Right. Okay. Is that the latest one?
And it's the latest one, and it's quite a nice. Yeah, it's quite a nice machine. Still, nothing like a PC, but it's quite. And actually, we were supposed to be closing down, but actually, the new PlayStation's coming out soon, and the price tag on the new PlayStation is something like £900. They've gone up dramatically now. Now they're pretty much the price of a PC.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to invest in a new laptop sometime soon. I've got
to. Yeah.
Anyway, but listen, I'm suffering from 4D syndrome right now. I really need to take a break.
Right, you are. Yeah. Okay, then.
Yeah, so let's wind it down, rather.
Yes.
Until next week.
Yes, until next week, gents. Have a good one, and speak to you next week.
Yeah, all the best.
Yeah, you too, Rick. See ya.
Yeah.
We need to talk. You have done outstanding work, Kel. Public interest is way up. You landed the senators and secured the launch.
And that's why you broke into my motel room? As a thank you?
Now that we know the whole world will be watching, we can't afford to lose. We need to be prepared to present an alternate version of the moon landing.
An alternate version.
The Artemis version.